Hey folks, this is Kelderan talking. I just wanted to do a quick little introduction to Space Station 13 to get you guys prepared when the game actually starts. Because a lot of it can be really confusing with the information that you're given just from the wiki, so I thought a hands-on type thing would be really great. So the first thing you're going to get presented with when you start and enter a server is this thing right here. Go ahead and close the changelog unless you find out what the new stuff is going on, and click Setup Character. So from here you can change the obvious things like hair color, facial color, eye color, but the important stuff is going to be your name, which you can do random, or if you want to be more pronounced, you can go ahead and do no and name yourself Calderan. That way everyone will know, but most people roll with a random name because it sounds very real. You can change your gender, male, female, your age, which I don't think makes much of a difference, and then your occupation choices, which make a huge difference. And this is going to go up here, and this is really only pertains to when the game actually starts, who gets priority. And even then, it's oftentimes just up in the air. So we're going to go ahead and choose Station Engineer for our first choice. Second choice, we can come down and choose the, let's see here, Quartermaster. And last choice is just going to be Assistant, because whatever. B Syndicate is also very, very important, because if you have it set to no, you will never become the traitor. Which, if you're very new at the game, can be a very good thing, because being a traitor is notably difficult. Now, don't let me scare you away from being a traitor. If you've played for a couple of days and you've got a good handle on the system, and you've read up a little bit about how to be a traitor, go ahead, turn it on. Especially with just us Let's Players playing, it's going to be a lot more lax, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. If we want to play a couple of games, that's fine. And really, who doesn't want to be the evil, killer traitor dude? So once you've got everything set up the way you like it, go ahead and press Save Setup, close this screen, and we're going to join the game. It's going to remember all that stuff. Okay, and here's all the open positions today. The open positions are going to allow us to do whatever it is we want to do, and really the big difference, the absolute biggest difference between all of these classes is your ID card. And of course how everyone else treats you. So if you're the captain, everyone is going to be asking you for info, and they're going to expect you to basically be running the joint. If you're the station, not the station engineer, but if you're the chief engineer, people are going to expect you to have the engine running and everything working just fine. And if you're the medical doctor, people are going to go to you when you're hurt. Other than that, the only difference is what you start with and what you have access to. Only the captain has access to the room that has his nuke detonation card. Actually, the captain has access to everything. The station engineer will have access to the engine room and stuff, but he will not, however, have access to the security room, while vice versa for the security officer. So let's go ahead and choose a station engineer, because that is pretty good access. And as soon as we click that, we're going to hop into the game. Now, if you hop into the game late, which is likely to happen because you didn't get in during the first 60 seconds of the server being up, you're going to end up here in the space shuttle. Now, I'm also going to take one of the screenshots of the actual ship, and because I've always wanted this, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to label all of the key places on the ship. Left, right, up, down moves you around. If you hold it down, you run. If you click it, you only move one space. Clicking on objects generally interacts with them, if it is to be interacted with whatever you have active. So for example, if I click on this locker, it's going to open up the locker. If I click on the locker again, it closes it. If I open it again and click on the shoes, holding shoes, click in the locker, shoes in the locker. There we go. Close the locker up. So that's the basics of interacting and moving around. Now the next important stuff is going to be what you see on the screen around here. First thing is this bottom left area, and what we're going to see here is this 3x3 major equipment section. This is the most important equipment slots for your character. We're going to do top left to bottom right, left to right order. And first is going to be the face. That's where your breathe masks and stuff are going to go. This is an incredibly important section for when the oxygen gets shut off and everyone is gasping for air. You want to have a breathe mask there and some oxygen going towards it. Here's the head area. Anything from hats to hard hats to top hats to the very important space helmets. Next to that is the back area, and that's currently holding my backpack, although there are a few things you can put there, such as jetpacks, large octane, to name a few. So we'll go ahead and put the backpack on that section, and that is, of course, the icon is a backpack anyhow. Here is our right hand, and our left hand is on the opposite side. The hands are what you interact with everything in the world with. So having a hand like this right hand, which is open, will allow me to click on things and interact with them as you would with an open hand. So if I click on this locker with an open hand, I open the locker. If I click on a pair of shoes, I'm going to put the shoes in my hand. Having an open hand is a very, very useful thing. Now having something in my hand, for example, I have this toolbox. If I click on something with the toolbox, I'm going to open the tool. Oh, I'm supposed to bash on. Oh, anyways. Normally when you click on something with a, oh, son of a bitch, I put my toolbox inside the locker. I want my give it back. There we go. We're gonna shut the lock. Oh, I'm experiencing some serious lag here. Hold on a moment. There we are. But I click on the open locker with my toolbox. As you saw, I put the toolbox in the locker. So clicking on things with certain hands, holding certain things, does very different things. For example, if I was to click on the closed locker with a turned on welding gun, I would weld the locker shut, and whatever or whoever was in the locker. Moving on, we've got the ID card, which is really one of the most important aspects of your character, and it makes you who you are as far as the station is concerned. So for example, if you were the traitor and you were to corner the captain and steal his ID card, you now have all of the powers of the captain. The only downside is going to be everyone in the station knows you're not the captain, unless you can somehow pull that off, and there are ways. So that's a very special item right there, and you want to hold on to that because if you lose it, you're basically not getting into any special areas, and you're really suspicious because you're not running around with the ID card. Next to that is your general clothing section. General clothing is what you see wearing on my character. He's wearing this yellow-orange jumpsuit. That's what that is. It's an engineering jumpsuit. And above that, which we hadn't gotten to yet because I wanted to wait till after we did this, was the exterior clothing. That counts for lab coats, space suits, other suits that go over your clothing, and and body armor as well, which is very important. Next to that is your belt. Your belt carries generic things that you'd imagine would be strapped to your belt, like my PDA, and you can go ahead and take things out of your belt by clicking on the hands. And then clicking on the belt again puts it back. You can also put small emergency oxygen tanks on your belt, which is super handy, I think. Some people hate the emergency oxygen tanks, but they're really readily available, and they fit in everything. So for me, running around with 2 or 3 emergency oxygen tanks is never a problem. Okay, that's the basic generic areas. Let's see how much time we have left here. Where's my recorder? Okay, we've got a couple more minutes. I'll go ahead and go over the rest of this stuff, because that was the most complicated of this bar. This button right here that says left and right toggles between what hand you're using. This is really important, because if I have it selected to left hand, that's my toolbox, and I would, as you saw earlier, put the toolbox inside this open thing. Or if I was to click on a friend with that hand, I would bash them in the face with the toolbox. If I switch to right, now I'm using my open hand. So if I'm to click on a friend with that, I'll be doing whatever it is I do with people with my open hand. We'll go into that later. Or if I'm holding a welding torch in that hand, for example, I'll be welding things. So this is an incredibly important button, and if you notice something's going wrong, or if you're unsure about what to do, make sure you're holding the right item in the correct hand. Now, one last thing about the hands is in order to open containers, you need to click on them with the open hand. So I can't open my toolbox with my left hand because I'm holding it with my left hand. However, I can open it with my right hand. Now, other than containers, just about everything else in the game you use with that same hand. And I'll show you one quick example. This PDA is not a container, so if I want to use it, I'm going to put it in my right hand and use it with my right hand. So very important. I'm going to put that back. So hands, really, really important. Use them. Next is dropping. Dropping is also important. I'm holding the PDA in my hand. I click this button, drop the PDA. That happens for anything you're holding in your active hand. You drop it on the spot. How are we doing with time? I'm just time paranoid right now. Okay, we're just about done. We're going to go ahead and go over some of the rest of this stuff in the next video, and maybe do a quick recap. Alright, great.